Kids, welcome to the cars rule. As everyone knows, I travel a lot. And when I travel, just like everyone else, I have luggage. So how do we know whose luggage is whose? Who owns which bag? Quite simple. We have name tags. Name tags tell you that somebody owns or possesses that particular thing. On ACT, we're going to see apostrophe S's. Let's go ahead and take a look at the cars rule examples. C-A-R-S. If we take a mini name tag and throw it in the middle between car and S, we see that there is possession. How about if we have the word C-A-R-S mini name tag? Also, there is possession there. So what happens if there's no mini name tag? Well, quite easy. We lose our luggage. Also, there's no possession, no ownership. Let's go ahead and take a look at the cars rule and some examples. First things first, you look up here at the top, you see that we have number 1, number 2, number 3, A and B. This is the cars rule. Let's quickly review it and then apply it to examples. Number 1, finger. What we want to do is we want to take your finger, and whenever we see an apostrophe S right here, just take your finger and superimpose it right over the apostrophe S. Put it right on top of it. Number 2, once you do that, say your finger is equivalent to this pencil here in the video. What we want to do, step number 2, is look to the left. Here, in example number 1, when we do that, we look to the left, we see that we have the word car. When we do that, we look to the left, we're going to ask ourselves, is that singular or is that plural? C-A-R, that's singular. Step number 3, we're going to now look to the right and still keep our finger on the mini name tag apostrophe. When we look to the right, we have to do 2 things. First things first, we have to say, is there possession? And if there is possession, is it singular or is it plural? In this particular case, we have our finger. I use my index finger on my right hand. I look to the right here, and whatever comes to the right of the word car, I know has to be possessive. Also, it has to match what you have here and make sense. Step number 1, take your finger, put it right on top of the apostrophe. Step 2, look to the left, ask yourself singular or plural, and then to the right, again, is there possession? If there is it singular or plural? Let's go ahead and take a look at some examples. In this first example, you see that we have C-A-R apostrophe S right here. I'm going to go ahead and just superimpose, put my finger right over the apostrophe here. Step number 1, take your finger, put it right over the apostrophe. Step 2, we're going to go ahead and from your finger, we're going to look to the left. I see that I have car. That also reinforces that we have 1 car. So this is singular, 1 car. Now, when I come over here to step number 3, I look to the right. The right of the apostrophe, I see the word muffler. So I have to ask myself, step A, does a car own or possess a muffler? Step A, check. A car owns or possesses its own muffler. It's that car. In fact, it's that red car's muffler. It's not any muffler, it's the red car's muffler. Now we have to move on to step B and ask yourself, is it singular or plural? In this case, it says muffler, which is singular, and that would match with a singular car. If we had S on the end, mufflers, I like the sound of that car's mufflers. Most cars only have 1 muffler, so that might not work. Keep in mind, step number 1, take your finger, put it right over the apostrophe. Step 2, look to the left of where your finger is and ask yourself, is that singular or plural? And then final step, 2 parts. to the right of the apostrophe, is there possession or not? If there's no possession, then you would not use an apostrophe. So you know on ACT that answer choice would be incorrect. Final step, when you look to the right, you have to ask yourself, does it match what we have? Does it make sense? Is it singular or plural? Let's go ahead and take a look at example number 2. In example number 2, it says, on the highway, comma, I smell the car's exhaust. Step number 1, take your finger and put it right on top of the mini name tag apostrophe. Boop. Step number 2, we're going to go ahead and look to the left. When we do that, you see that to the left, we have the word cars. That's plural. Step number 3, we're going to go ahead and now look to the right of where your finger is on the mini apostrophe, mini name tag. And you see here to the right, it says exhaust. So first of all, step A, does a car possess or own its own exhaust? Yes, it does. Check. B, singular or plural. Can one car own exhaust? And can 2 cars own exhaust? Both are correct. That will work. It's used correct. I smell the car's exhaust. Let's take a look at the final example. Final example. Remember, step number 1, take your finger, put it over the apostrophe mini name tag. In this case here, the head tutoring assistant Zach loves cars. Here's the word in question, cars. There is no mini name tag, so that simply means no possession. We don't need a mini name tag. Mini name tags are there to designate that there's some type of ownership. There's possession going on. Now keep in mind a couple things, kids, don't get weirded out by this. When I say ownership or possession, if it says Jimmy's friends, does Jimmy own his friends? No. Does he possess his own friends? No. However, there's some type of a close attachment between Jimmy and those friends. So you would actually use an apostrophe in that case. So keep in mind, watered down possession and ownership. I like to think of it as some type of close association or relationship. Is there a close association or relationship between exhaust and a car? Yes. Is there some type of close association between a car and a muffler? Yes. There it is. Examples for the cars rule. Pause the video here and complete worksheet number 1. Here's the directions for worksheet number 1. What we want to do here is look at the 9 questions, look at the underlined word, and ask yourself, do we need an apostrophe? If we do need an apostrophe, are we going to place it before the S or after the S? Please note, not all questions are going to need an apostrophe. You have to follow the 3 steps: finger, look left, and look right. Go ahead, pause the video here and complete the worksheet. We'll come on back in a moment with the answers and explanations. Answers and explanations for worksheet number 1. Kids, quick review. Always remember we're going to use these 3 things in and out of order. We're going to use our finger to cover up an apostrophe, look to the left to see if it's singular or plural, and then to the right, is there possession and is it singular or plural? This is going to have to match what we're talking about in the sentence, either before or in that sentence that's in question right now. Let's take a look at number 1. There are 2 baby tigers in the Hong Kong Zoo that are white. The tiger's paws have snow-colored claws. First thing we want to do here is try and figure out, is there possession? Does a tiger possess or own its own claws? Is there some type of an association between the 2? The answer on that is yes. We will need an apostrophe. Where we will put it, that's still to be determined. So out of all 3 possibilities, apostrophe before the S, after the S, or no apostrophe, we know we're going to need an apostrophe where we put it. Not sure. Here it says tiger's paws. Well, one tiger owns 4 paws, but also multiple tigers own multiple paws. So here we are in a position where we're not 100% sure. What do? We come back over here. This sentence is not enough information, so we have to go back up earlier and look and see the sentence beforehand. Here it says 2 tigers, that's plural, so that means plural tigers own plural paws. Tigers after the apostrophe S for number 1. Kids, keep in mind that if you don't have enough information to answer the question accordingly, you have to look back at the previous sentence, or in some cases you have to look back deeper in the paragraph, look above. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2, The Water's Edge is an album by an Australian songwriter. So here is what's in question. What I do is I look over here, start with possession. Does this, the water's edge, okay, does the water own the edge? Or does the edge own the album? I come over here and I say yes, possession. The water owns its own edge, because say there's a lake here, this is the edge of the water, and it's that water's edge. So there is going to be possession. We know there's going to be an apostrophe. Now, we have to try and figure out, is it waters, plural, or is it one water that owns its edge? It's an album, okay? So it's going to be singular right here. It's before the S. One water owns its own edge. It's because it's that album. Number 3. Number 3, Sarah's book bag is pink and gray. So first thing I do, I look over here and say, does Sarah own or possess? Is there some type of association or attachment between Sarah and the book bag? If so, we're going to use an apostrophe. In this case, yes, Sarah owns her own book bag. Now we have to determine whether this is singular or plural. If we put the apostrophe here, that would mean there's multiple Sarahs owning one book bag. That's not possible. We know that a singular book bag has to go with a singular person. One Sarah right here. Before the S, Sarah's book bag is pink and gray for problem 3. On to number 4. Number 4. She has those bike's tires changed before the family ride. So she had those right away. This is a secret clue, kids. We know that we have tires. This is plural, but this is kind of wacky because one bike has multiple tires. So we don't know if it's one bike with multiple tires or multiple bikes with multiple tires. So we have to look back previous in the sentence here. Those tells you it's plural. Also, this gives you a hint over here. It says family ride. Well, a family's not going to ride one bike. So we know that it's going to be plural here and plural here. So we would make bikes for the family plural by putting the apostrophe on the outside of the S for number 5. In problem number 5, it says Zach has 4 years experience in teaching ACT material. Here's the underlined word that's in question. I come over here and say right away, I always like to try and start with the possession part because I can save myself a little bit of time. Does the 4 years own or possess the experience? Or another way of thinking of it going backwards is, did the experience come from the 4 years? The answer on that one is going to be yes, there is possession. So we need to try and figure out, is it plural years or is it singular years? In this particular case here, we just look back previously in the sentence and see there's 4 years, so we know that it's going to be plural possessive. In this particular case, plural possessive, the apostrophe would go on the outside of the S, kids. Problem number 5. Moving on to number 6. Number 6. It says, it's been 3 centuries since the last dodo bird was spotted. So the word in question is centuries. We see that centuries here, 3 centuries. And then now I always like to start on the right hand side, you see that, looking for possession. Does centuries own or possess since the last dodo bird? No. So right away you see that this fails right away. There's no possession. So on this particular case, we would just leave it no apostrophe for problem number 2. On to 7. My friend Jim's monkey's eyes are dark brown. Now you'll see that problem 7 and 8 are pretty much the same sentence, but we're going to have to look back in the sentence and try to figure out what's going on and see if there's some other clues in there. So here is what's in question. Jim's monkey's eyes. Me, I come up here, I like starting with number 3, possessions. So first thing here is the word that's in question, monkeys. Let's start with that. Monkey's eyes. Is there an association or relationship or ownership or possession between monkeys and eyes? Yes, monkeys own their own eyes. Monkeys' eyes are plural, but monkeys have 2 eyes. One monkey has 2 eyes, and multiple monkeys have multiple eyes as well. So that doesn't help us a whole lot. Have to look back in the sentence and see what's going on here. It says, my friend. I have one friend. It doesn't say friends, it says friend. Think about it logically, kids. Would a friend, if he had a monkey, would it be logical to have one, or would most people have 2? I'm thinking a monkey's probably a lot of work, so having 2 monkeys is going to be like even too much work. So I'm thinking that right away, my friend is going to have 1 monkey. That's going to be plenty for Jim. Jim has 1 monkey. So the monkey's eyes. So it's 1 monkey, apostrophe before the S, and that 1 monkey owns or possesses its own eyes. See how this is singular monkey, but it does match up with plural eyes because some things have multiple things. Like for example, a bike, 1 bike owns multiple tires. You see how we have to kind of make it match? All right, the second thing here is you see that it's Jim's monkey. There's possession between Jim and the monkey because it's Jim's monkey. He actually owns that monkey. And how many Jims are there? There's 1 Jim. So in this case, we're going to have double apostrophes. In this sentence here, we would have an apostrophe before the S in Jim's and an apostrophe before the S in monkeys. 1 Jim owns the monkey, and 1 monkey owns multiple eyes. Don't get confused, kids. Remember, sometimes we have to look back and try and figure it out from other parts of the sentence or look above. Here, friend gives you a hint that it's going to be singular. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next problem. The next problem, very similar. We're talking about monkey's eyes again. Here it says the Sriracha Zoo monkey's eyes are brown. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to come over here and try and figure out if it's a zoo. Here we see that we have plural eyes and we have zoos. All right, so in a zoo, how many monkeys usually would you see? Would you see 1 or would you see multiple monkeys? You see how we're kind of like making some logical assumptions here? With my friend Jim, it's probably going to be 1 monkey, but a zoo is probably going to be multiple monkeys. So if we put the apostrophe on the outside in this particular case, that tells us there's multiple monkeys living in the zoo, and those multiple monkeys own or possess their own eyes. Here is plural. That matches with plural over here. However, in the sentence before, you saw that that wasn't the case. It was singular matching with plural. Make it match, kids. If you look over here, you see the last thing. It says the Sriracha's zoos monkeys. Well, if we just leave zoos, that would mean in Sriracha there's multiple zoos. That's probably not the case. It's 1 zoo. And does that zoo own the monkeys? Yes. The 1 zoo owns the monkeys, and the monkeys own their own eyes. So in this case, we're going to have to put an apostrophe before the S because it's 1 zoo owns the multiple monkeys, and those multiple monkeys own their own eyes. Kids, take a look at that real close. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this on the screen again. 1 Jim owns 1 monkey, and 1 monkey owns 2 eyes. Here we have one zoo because it's in Sriracha, and that zoo owns multiple monkeys, and those multiple monkeys own multiple eyes because they're their eyes. Look at that real close, kids. If you need to quickly review the rules, let's go ahead and take a look at problem number 9. This is the last one for worksheet number 1. Here it says that car's windshield wipers need to be changed. For me, I come over here and I see the possession part over here, windshield wipers. Does a car own or possess or has some type of relationship or attachment with windshield wipers? Yes. Right away I know we're going to need an apostrophe. Second thing we have to do is we have to try and figure out what is going on with the cars. Is it one car with windshield wipers or multiple cars with windshield wipers? Alright, so now once again it's the same thing as with this monkey deal here above, kids. We know that a car, one car, owns multiple windshield wipers, but also multiple cars could also own multiple windshield wipers as well. So we need a hint. When we come over here, no hint over here. Ooh, 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 look at this. Here's a hint. The first word, that. That car. That refers to one car, and one car owns its own windshield wipers. So here, in this case, we're going to put the apostrophe before the S, kids, because it's one car. That refers to one car. Now, if I were to change this in number 9 and I wrote those, see the difference? Those cars would tell you that that's going to be multiple, secret hint, and that points out one specific car. If we use the word those, once again, we would put the apostrophe on the outside of the S. Number 9, in this case, when we see the word that, we put it on the inside of the S. That's it for worksheet number 1. Answers, explanations, kids.
Kids, what's up? Professor Thomas here with a real-life example for the cars rule. First things first, if you look behind me, you see this lovely new car here. I make a sentence up that says, the car's wheels are black. If you look here, you see that we have one car that owns its own wheels, and of course, that car, the wheels are black. In this case, it's going to be a singular car, C-A-R, apostrophe S. The car owns its own wheels. Car's wheels are black. That's where we would put the apostrophe. Now, what if I went like this? Whoa. Now we see there's multiple cars in the parking lot, but I still say the same sentence. What? The car's wheels are black. In this particular case, I'm referring to multiple cars. So the apostrophe is going to have to be on the outside of the S. C-A-R-S apostrophe. Remember the rule. Put your finger over the apostrophe, look to the left and see is it singular or plural, then look to the right and see if there's possession. Car obviously owns its own wheels because it's the car's wheels. Second of all, you got to make a differentiation between is it singular or is it plural. Real life example, kids, multiple cars or one car. Cars rule, kids.
Let's go ahead and take a look at a quick review for the cars rule. As you saw in the last example, you saw that we have the 3 rules: finger, look left, look right. And you saw that we use these out of order when answering ACT questions. So depending on what they give you, what you see, what you have, you don't have to start with putting your finger over the apostrophe. In this case, you can't do that because there is no apostrophe. Okay, on ACT, you just pick your answer choice that has the apostrophe, and then you just go through the order that makes the most sense for you. So we've already done a quick review on that. Finger, look to the left to see if it's singular or plural. Look to the right and see A, if there's possessions. Then if there is possession, does it match? Does it make sense? And or is it singular or plural? Singular or plural are going to help you figure out, does it match and does it make sense? This really kind of is just repetitive. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first working example. The headphones cables are read. What do I do right away here? Since there is no apostrophe, I can't use my finger. I just go right down here to step number 3. Look to the right and see if there's possession. So here's the word in question. I go right to the right of the word and see, is there an association? Is there possession? Is there ownership? Is there an attachment? Some type of a relationship between headphones and a cable? Yes, headphones own their own cable. The cable is part of the headphones. Right away, it passes muster, so I know we're going to have to put in an apostrophe S. Now, what do? We come over here and try and figure out where do we put it. We know we need an apostrophe. It's either going to go after the S or before the S. So how do we know? What we can do here is look for clues. The clue here is cables. Normal headphones only have one cable, so the mere fact that this has cables is plural. Now you have to make sure that you understand the contents of the sentence and make it match, because sometimes this word here is going to be plural, but that plural will have to match with something that's singular. We saw that earlier with the monkey's eyes. Eyes are plural and one monkey has multiple eyes. So if this is plural in this particular case, we know that over here has to match and be plural as well. So we take our apostrophe here and we just simply put it in where it would make this plural. Headphones, apostrophe S. Plural matches with plural. Let's take a look at the second example. The second example here says the moon's orbit is predictable. Okay, so first of all, I start with a possession again. Here's the word in question. I look to the right and I see the word orbit. Orbit is singular, so I know right away this is going to have to be singular. Does the moon own its own orbit? Is there an attachment relationship between the moon and its orbit? Yes, so that passes muster here, possession. So if this is orbit, singular, this will have to be moon, singular. Simply place the apostrophe before the S. It's a quick review for the CARS rule, kids. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.